What is up, team? I wanted to record this really quick video, kind of going over some different tips to get listings in these scalding hot markets that are all across the entire world right now, and just ways you can do that, both for free and paid, all that, and as well as giving you guys this document so that way you have something that's tangible that you can go and look back at, look at as a reference point, all that. So to get right into it, before we go like too deep, important note for that one smart ass who's going to be reading this is going to say something smart is obviously not all these tips may be applicable, and that's okay. There's a wide variety of these things that are going to suit your different needs, and the main takeaway from this should be looking at what you can go and use right now to go and increase your business right now rather than trying to nitpick. So, to get into it, most important tip is that buyers can be sellers in disguise. I know it sounds wild. Everyone wants listings. Everyone wants to feel special because they got a listing and they want their ego boosted because they got listing after listing. However, you can get listings from buyers. Some of these people, believe it or not, kind of just want to upgrade or downgrade or move or relocate, doesn't matter. But some of these people who are, open quotes, buyers might have a property they need to sell, whether it's, their current one they're living in, or they might just want to sell in general. And, they have two properties, two, three properties, doesn't matter. They might just want to sell something. So you got to be a stealthy little salesperson, little ninja who's able to kind of casually figure out what this person, needs, what they want, all that, and also figuring out if they need to sell. Because sometimes you're not going to always need to sell, and that's, it is what it is. Like, you can't make them do it. Like, you can try and, talk to them and figure out why they're not doing it, or, what their motivation is. But ultimately, it comes down to the person. However, what you can go and do is just be that helping hand. At the end of the day, it's not even about, okay, I got a listing, I got, a buyer, I got this, that. It's about helping people. When you come from this place of providing genuine value, these leads and these people are going to start caring about you more and more. And you never know. Like I mentioned it a couple times in this document, but there's going to be times where someone might refer you to someone who needs to sell their house, and that's all they need to do. They just need to sell, and that's all they want to do. Maybe they want to start renting, or maybe they need to sell and buy, and you get a two-sided deal, and you never know what's going to happen. So stop trying to make assumptions. Stop trying to be Mr. or Mrs. Fancy Pants who gets 20 million listings a year. No one gives a shit. Just go out there and provide value. So that being said, you can get leads, from your past clients. Most of us know this, but a lot of people don't really use it too much. And the reason why is because they lack that kind of follow-up system, which is something that I'll go into in a totally separate video. But to give you the kind of bird's eye view of it, every single meaningful conversation you're having with someone in regards to real estate should be documented somewhere. I don't care what CRM you use. I don't care if you use a notepad. I don't care if you use an Excel spreadsheet. It doesn't matter. But it needs to be documented in somewhere where you can go and find that information and be able to update it on the fly based on that person's current, buying or selling predicament. Or hell, if they just want to refer you to someone, it doesn't really matter too much. It's just because them themselves, or they themselves, excuse me, I can't speak, aren't selling, doesn't mean that they don't know people who also want to sell. You never know. Once again, it's about like sales. What I found has been, throughout the years of doing it, it is very much so about not making assumptions about your potential clients and hearing them out, or at least understanding where they're coming from before you go and decide whether or not you're going to take action on something or not take action on something. So you should be communicating with these leads at least twice a month. I know some people are like, oh, do it like once every quarter, or oh, once in a blue moon. They are idiots, for lack of better words. Sorry if I offended you if you're the person who says that, but you're leading your people astray. What you need to be doing is setting up different things like email lists, having social media content, video follow up, value posts in your social media and your emails and everywhere where someone's going to see you. So that way you practice that omnipresence, because people buy from people who they know, like, and trust, but they're also being sold progressively. I mean, what is it? The average, I think it's like the average time someone has to see an advertisement to take action and like commit to buying something is 7 times. Obviously, that's very give or take. There's a lot of nuance. Once again, don't be the smart ass who's trying to, say, "Oh well, I had someone who saw my face 4 times and bought." Don't be that. Don't be that guy or girl, please. You'll get on my fucking nerves. But you get the point. You can go out here, provide value, put yourself in front of these people, and establish that, hey, I'm always around kind of factor, and it'll just keep bringing in people over time. Because the rule of thumb is the prospecting you do for the next 30 days is going to pay you for the next 90. So you need to just keep prospecting every single day and having ways to keep in touch with people who you can't always prospect with. Because you should be, yes, like you should be focusing on adding new people to the pipeline and all that. but you should also be, working old leads because those people can pay your bills just as well as the new ones. So from there, real estate investors. We all know this. It's a very simple concept. Real estate investors are a super, super awesome source for listings because some of them might want to offload properties, and being able to build those relationships with them is going to be able to pay you out much higher dividends and a lot higher over the long run and over the short run because these people might have properties they want to sell. And sure, even if it's distressed or whatever, it doesn't really matter too much. You can start stacking deals left and right. And even say, like, say you help an investor who's selling distressed properties, who wants to sell this, or who did like a fix and flip on a distressed property and they want to sell it. Okay, great, awesome, cool beans. Then from there, you do a great job for them. They go and refer you to their other investor friend or their investor mentor who's got fucking millions in the bank and can go and refer you out to all these other people as well. But also, they have their own properties too that they're fixing and flipping, and they're on way fucking nicer, and they're like $400,000 plus price range. It obviously depends on the area, whatever. You can start stacking and stacking deals left and right, and it has the potential to grow your business exponentially more than most other processes can. However, it takes a lot of time and building relationships, and once again, just kind of being human. You have to be human in this business. There's no like, yes, you're salespeople. Everyone's a salesperson. It's not a secret, but there's a difference between being just a car salesperson and an actual salesperson who gives a shit. Because a car salesperson usually just wants that quick commission because they're making such low commissions. They got to sell as fast as possible, and they have to just get these people to buy shit. Usually that they can't afford or whatever. But I don't just get too deep into that. But you just want to get people to buy shit as fast as they can, so that way they can get that that quick little like $1,000, $2,000 commission check, and just keep it moving. So then from there, you have builders and new construction. Builders and new construction are my favorite one because these deals are lay down sales 90% of the time, 80, 90% of the time, these deals are lay down. All you it is as simple as showing someone the properties, taking them to go and look at the builder's options, and then hand them off, and you get yourself a nice little commission check. Usually a bigger one than you would normally get because these deals or these builders usually want to like pay out. I've seen the highest I've ever heard of was 10% in commission. The highest I've ever personally seen from one of our agents was 6%. So these builders usually pay out pretty high. And on top of that, these people are getting, these people are getting this really, really amazing deal. And I know that for a fact because I'm personally looking at new construction for my own personal home. So I know that for a fact. But these builders' jobs are to get homes sold as quickly as possible. And a lot of people don't think about these aspects. And it's like these people want you to bring them leads. They want to give you money. Like that is their whole job. They want to make money and give you money, and everyone's happy and give these people a brand new home. So these builders usually tend to have some pretty solid incentives, such as things like closing costs being covered, up to X amount in free design upgrades, smart home features. The list kind of goes on. Gated communities, cool amenities, all that stuff. You can go really, really far, but you get the point. So these people who are also looking at new construction, they see these leads we're looking at least. They're looking at it as like this massive and easier upgraded quality of life versus having to go and remodel their whole house. Because a lot of people try and remodel their whole home, realize one, it's really expensive, and two, it takes a lot of time. Like when a lot of like people are functioning on this very instant gratification, dopamine fueled, I guess kind of mindset. That's how most people function. That's a thing that's just part of society at this point. So these people want the quickest possible result for the best possible price because most people just don't like buying a house is expensive. It takes money. So most of these people don't want to go, crazy broke trying to buy all this shit or trying to remodel their house and they're too deep in and it's all this stuff and they have to commit to it. They don't want any of that sometimes. Sometimes they just want to see a house they like. They want to move in ready home and they're like, let's just get this shit going. And then from there, you're getting these people when they are actively looking for new construction. Some of them just want to move really, really fast, and that plays in the previous point, which is like some of these people also have homes they need to sell, and they're going to want to sell them fast as hell so they can get into new construction as quickly as possible before it all fills up. Because new construction right now is pretty much the only other option outside of just like praying to God you get a listing. We can all agree on that, I'm sure. And hopefully you're shaking your head yes behind your computer or phone wherever you're watching this. So that'll be funny. But that's kind of the only real way to get listings now. It's to just because inventory is so low across the entire world. I say that because like we work with someone out in Dubai and inventory was low out there. Like that's saying something where there's like these multi-million-dollar properties. But I digress. Then from there, obviously we all know about expireds and FISBOs. No one likes it because it takes work. But if you reach out to them, you call them, you do whatever you can to get in front of them in the right way, you can go and then make a lot of money from it. And you can also help these people out a lot. Because think about it. So someone who has an expired listing, they're already going to be pretty down in the dumps from having that listing expired, because that just means that something went wrong along the buying process. And even though it may not be their fault, they're going to feel like you have to come from this place of empathy where they're going to feel like they aren't worthy of having their house sold, and they're going to like be hesitant of working with anyone because it didn't work out. Like I've seen it happen with my mom. Like my mom tried to list our old house, I think probably 3 times since me growing up, and it almost expired until someone bought it. And then she got a dream home, which actually was new construction, but you get the point. Like it almost expired, and I could see her like starting to like kind of lose motivation and drive for it because it's exhausting having to like constantly keep the house clean, make sure it's ready for showings, make sure you leave all that stuff. I remember it. My mom would be like, "Hey, make sure you're not at the house. Like, go do something else. Like, go just drive around. I don't care, but just don't be at the house. We have showings, all that stuff." So what you can do is go on Zillow, the MLS, etc., all that, and find these people who have either had recently expired listings or trying out the for sale by owner, and act as someone who's trying to give them guidance rather than someone who's trying to sell them on something. You should be coming from all your dialogue and sales process should be originating from a conversational standpoint. Yes, some people like obviously this is subjective, and some people are going to be just fucking ready to be sold right there, and that's great. Even then, I would say pull back a tiny bit, and just take it slow. Still have the conversation. Like for example, if someone hits me up and they're like, "Hey, I really, really, really want leads. Like I know it works. I've watched all your testimonials, blah blah blah." I still will be like, hold on, partner. I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you for watching the content. However, let me ask you a couple questions. Let me figure out your situation, because you can't go and just be gung ho. Like yes, there's strategy to it. There's not just blind trying to do everything under the sun. So, and hoping that sticks. So what you're doing, from coming from this value and guidance based standpoint, is giving people a reliable source that they can go and ask questions without fear of being fucking harassed into a sale. Because a lot of these people will sell themselves on you if you give them good enough advice. I mean, hell, there's realtors who I'm really good friends with who I've worked with on and off here and there just because they're like, "Hey, can you run this ad for me?" Or, "Hey, can we do this thing together?" Like, blah, 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 because I've given them good advice and vice versa. Like it's all value driven. And I know every single coach and every single person under the sun tells you, "Oh, give value, give value." But that's how you actually give value. You give them tips, you give them advice, you help them with things, even if sometimes it's not always going to produce a monetary result immediately. Some of these people will refer you. I have been on. I can't stress that enough. The average person refers someone twice anyway. And if someone really loves you, they'll refer you more than that. I mean, hell, my mom referred our old realtor who sold her house like 6 times successfully, probably more than that now. Like she loves her. She loves our realtor to death. I love her to death. She's great. And that came from her. I mean, Jesus Christ, my mom didn't list for 7 months until she had everything ready to go and she did a couple remodels. But I didn't even realize that. Like our agent Ryland, which Ryland, if you ever watch this, shout out to you. You're the best. Ryland talked to my mom for 7 months before she ever put anything on the market, because she was just giving her tips, giving her advice. And if you're black, you already know if you get invited to the cookout, you're good. But my mom invited her to the cookout. She was having to meet the family, all that stuff, and doing all these things where Rylan was able to build connections and give value to people in a way that wasn't a hard sell. And if anything, my mom was putting her in a position that was even greater, because you had to understand you're dealing with social dynamics here. And I don't want to, once again, I'm not going to get too off topic with all this sales speak and social dynamics. I can go on for days with that. These are social dynamics where you have to be playing it intelligently and not trying to just ping pong and just get as much money as fast as possible, no matter how bad you need the money. I don't care how bad you need it. I don't care if you're going to have to file for bankruptcy, like, next week or next month or whatever, if you don't close a deal right now. Like these things take time, and you have to be patient. And once again, not once again, but it comes back to the law of attraction. And once again, I say it. That's like my favorite phrase for today. By the way, I don't know why, but I'm not going to get too deep into the philosophy and sales and psychology and all that. But you need to come from this place of wanting to genuinely help people, and they will sense that. If it's genuine, they will sense it from 10 miles away and gravitate towards you. So then from there, final thing, and obviously my bread and butter is Facebook ads. Online leads can be an endless source of business if you set yourself up correctly. Like these leads can just flow in over and over and over again, and you can get them for dirt cheap. I'm talking like we were asking people like 6 to 8 questions and getting leads for an average of, I think, you on the low end, like $1 per lead. On the higher end, like $4 a lead, like $4 or $5 a lead. And we're asking them a good amount of questions and having like a good amount of qualification ahead of time. So just by doing that and being able to put yourself out there in that way, people are gonna, one, see your face and name more often. Two, you can go and run your videos as ads. It's a really big feature that I'm going to do a whole separate video on video. It's the video section on, but you can go and run your videos as ads on Facebook and start to cultivate this audience of people who give a shit about you. Not just, oh, I'm a realtor, so obviously everyone's gonna care about, like, no one gives a shit about you if you're a realtor. Sorry to tell you, but you have a job where a stripper can become one in a week. It's really not that hard. And I don't know why that's my favorite comparison, but that's honestly the best comparison I've ever come up with. Like, you have this job that anyone can do because it's sales. So you have to go and be able to differentiate yourself by standing out and putting yourself out there in all these different ways. So to get back to it, you can go and run, for example, you can run a buyer focused ad and with a headline like attention, blah blah blah, city home buyers. We have a stunning list of beautiful homes in the area. And what you're not, what a lot of people don't realize is you can go and attract a lot of sellers from this solely just because these people are in this buying mindset. And it's even better when you get sellers from this because they almost always want to sell really fast. Like a lot of our agents who get these seller leads from, I mean, honestly, I'd say our agents probably close more seller leads that also buy than just straight buyer leads from Facebook ads. Like us, yes, we obviously have some of those buyer leads that just close, but we get a lot of sellers who are really interested because of the way that we're using them, and also using the ways like of detailed targeting. So, have you never used Facebook before? It has interest-based targeting for real estate because you have to follow certain guidelines. So, NAR doesn't yell at you and all that, fair housing, all that shit, whatever. But point is, you can go and target a lot of these different traits and interests and mix and match them and be able to, cultivate different audiences based on those things. You can get like really specific with it too. I personally don't recommend people get hyper specific. Like just, put a couple of really good ones in and see how it plays out and test it out. It takes a lot of testing and all that. But here's a couple of the interest-based targetings that we use. Like this is a screenshot from Facebook. As you can see, this is a screenshot from Facebook from one of our clients' ads showing the exact interest we use. Sorry, I'm trying to click off of that. There we go. So we look up, or we want to find people who show an interest in things like mortgage calculator, mortgage loan, first time home buyer, home equity loan, credit for their financing, Credit Karma, even though it's hot garbage, we know. Trulia, a loan, Zillow, first time home buyer grant, pre qualification specifically for lending. Like there are all these options that people don't know about. And literally, like all you have to do is type in a couple of these things on Facebook, and it'll have a little suggestion bar and start giving you a bunch of suggestions. Obviously, do not put all of them in because you don't want to go crazy with it. Like this amount of interest is what's getting people to close deals month after month. I mean, some people closing a deal every single month. Like it's insane what you can do with it. So anyway, hopefully these tips help you guys out. I just want to make this quick video, give you some value, let you know that you are in a situation that you can go and really win if you leverage it correctly. And honestly, I'll probably add in some more bonus stuff because there's some more topics and things going through my head. But expect a lot more videos and be on the lookout for the next one. I'll catch you guys later.